What's up, fam, and welcome to another edition of BBI Talks. Can you believe it is season 3, episode 10 already?
Man, you know, shout out to brother David C. He was like, "Hey, y'all on season 3? Where we been?" And
look, my sentiments exactly. Where you been, bro?
And I said, 3 seasons, man.
That's right. We're hardworking, got the Jamaican roots. So, we got 15 jobs. Anything less, you're a lazy rascal.
Well, we definitely ain't been on no lazy stuff now these days. That's for sure.
No, we have not. But we can keep it pushing. We had somebody that was in the studio before us, so that which kind of left us running to get us going. But we're gonna get started. We have an extraordinary guest today, and I'm like crazy excited. But before we get going, BBI Talks is the platform where Black business owners and leaders discuss issues that matter to us. I am your co-host, Professor Lotus, and this is my exceptionally gifted and brilliant Black man,
Brother Anthony D. Exceptionally scruffy today. It's been it's been a busy day. I didn't even have time to holler at the razor, so please pardon my unkempt appearance. Hopefully my contribution to the conversation today will distract you from my stubble.
Well, you're still handsome, honey, so don't even worry about it. Don't even sweat the small stuff.
Whatever you say, I'm in full agreement with you.
And he's so humble, y'all.
Absolutely.
So today's topic is B1, the film, the movie. Putting first. When I tell you, if y'all have been paying attention this season 3, we have been going from week to week, kicking off the new year, talking about ownership, Black business ownership. How can we take the industries that we engage on a daily basis and own them completely? Now, it's so funny because we scheduled our big brother to be on the show about a week ago, right? We didn't see his trailer until maybe 2 days after we did Let Me Clear My Throat. And what were we talking about? Us taking ownership over our shipping.
That's right.
Right? We have all of these brothers and sisters that are out there that own their own trucking companies, their own dispatcher companies, right?
Yeah.
And I said, what if we kind of came together as a network of Black businesses and a network of trucking companies, logistics companies, and dispatchers, and organized a shipping service of our own?
Not far-fetched.
It's not, especially with the topic that we're about to kick off today. We're going to talk about how not only is it feasible, but guess what, y'all? It's a necessity.
Necessary.
We don't even have a choice anymore in the matter because things are just happening. But I don't want to get too far into the topic today.
Yeah, you're getting excited. I can see.
Man,
you're ready to go.
Look, this is my kind of conversation. This is my kind of conversation. So
Calm down.
This is what make BBI Talks what it is, y'all.
Oh, Lord. Look, y'all done got the spear stirred up in her. Lord have mercy. Y'all about to see another side of Professor Lotus today.
I'm telling you, we ready for this? Drop this hot intro.
Let's do it.
All right, BBI Talks. You know what it is. Let's go.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react. Cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out of the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react. Cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out of the land. Glad that I know where I am.
Woo, y'all. Today we have an awesome guest and our big brother, the award-winning film director, the one and only brother Ric Mathis. But before we get into that, we're going to read his receipts, as they call it. We're going to read the bio. We're going to read the reason why we should listen to this brother right here when he speaks, and why we should watch everything this brother drops. Everything. And I'm not just saying that.
Peace. Brother Rick.
What up? What up? What up? How y'all doing?
All is well, my black man. Look, we apologize. I was trying to find the bio, but I didn't see that we have it. So we're going to do you the honor, brother, of introducing yourself, telling our audience about yourself. Look, there's no better source of information than firsthand information. You know, that's my personal policy. So please introduce yourself. Tell us about your bio, some of the projects that you've been involved in, and share with our audience, dear brother.
No doubt. Thanks again for having me on the show. My name is Ric Mathis, filmmaker based right here in Atlanta, GA, the hottest city right now for producing films, content, and whatever, you know, that's entertainment. But had the opportunity to work with a lot of people, man. You know, got my career started at Rolling Out Magazine. Shout out to them, Munson Steed and the whole team over there. Absolutely. And from there, produced a documentary called Word, which is a poetry DVD series that featured everybody from past poets Amir Baraka, Sonia Sanchez, CeeLo from the Goody Mob, Professor Griff, Big Rule. So I had a lot of people in it, you know, and from there, you know, I've had the honor to continue to produce, you know, other amazing projects. You know, I had the opportunity to work with people like David Banner, Hill Harper, Malcolm Jamal Warner, just to name a few. Nuri Muhammad in this new one, Reza Islam on this new one. Who else we have on here? Queen of Four, Dr. Boyce Watkins, who I'm partnering with on this new project. So I had an opportunity to work with some of the biggest and brightest minds in the entertainment industry.
Speech from Arrested Development.
Yeah, Speech from Arrested Development is definitely in this one. Like, we got an all-star cast, man. I think I sent the cast to you, but we got an all-star cast for this one.
Yeah, you
really excited about it.
You took away some of my talking points, but I was going to call the roll on your behalf, but I'm so glad that you did, because another person that I saw, if we're going to actually show the trailer for our audience before your segment ends today, but we saw Brother Chika Okua.
Yes, Atlanta's own.
Atlanta's own. We saw Brother D1 representing that NO, doing wonderful work out there in New Orleans, man. So yeah, you got some of the best and brightest minds of Black America on this film, man. And so we are just excited, man, to learn about it.
I have to share now. You mentioned the legendary Sonia Sanchez, right? And I don't even know. I don't even know if my husband is aware of this.
Yes, I am.
But we're actually related to the legendary Sonia Sanchez. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we're related through marriage, and back in, I want to say, maybe 10 years ago, she was here for Saturn Women on Tour, and I was blessed with the honor of opening for her. And look, let me tell you this, Brother Rick. When I came out to the front, I said, you know, I tried to introduce myself. She said, I know who you are. So, you know, I'm like, what?
And that's how she is.
And then she said, I liked your piece. Man, that was it. I was like, I can retire now because I'm good.
That's one of our legends when it comes to poetry, man.
What you say. So I just had to share that little tidbit with everybody.
She really tried to stunt, Brother Rick.
No.
She tried to slide in there. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing. Now, wouldn't you tell people that you were related, especially if it came up in conversation? Why not?
Oh yeah, by all means, definitely.
Yeah, it's not stunting, it's facts.
Brother Rick,
icons in the poetry world, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literary genius.
Yes, she is. And she's writing her memoirs right now. So I can't wait for that to drop. Wow. Yeah, she's writing her memoirs. So we got the trailer. I want to see the trailer again.
All right. So look.
Yeah.
BBI Talks.
Yeah.
We about to get it going. Just give me 1 second. All right. You heard the little sound effect. Okay. Let's give me 1 second.
I'm gonna get off the screen because we need full screen for this.
Right. Back on up, sister. All right, here we go. All right, y'all. Y'all ready?
We ready.
All right, we're gonna run this thing.
The pandemic has opened the eyes of Black people in America and put emphasis on the fact that we must start working together and put our needs first. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins of the Black Business School. I've teamed up with award-winning filmmaker Ric Mathis to poll over 1 million people with this intriguing question. What is it going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first?
The world starts with love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe.
We've been conditioned for hundreds of years now to not love who we are.
I believe that we're in the midst of a great awakening right now.
It's going to take a very intentional effort to undo what society has done to us. We all are going through this experience together. So I encourage us to be less hard. We don't even say hi to each other on the streets.
But when we lead with love, it's amazing how different our lives will look when we lead with love at all times, not just when it's convenient for us or not just when we receive it first.
Love is nice, but the biggest thing is what creates your opportunities is what you own and control. But now you better get yourself some money. So I got kids to support, man, and grandkids, and they got to eat, man. And I can tell them I love them. They're going to need some clothes on their rear.
To truly obtain Black power, Black people must first begin by looking within ourselves and realizing our true power.
We have to stop looking for validation outside of our community.
We've been waiting for people outside of ourselves to change in order to have what we desire, when the true power is actually within us.
If we're able to see ourselves and understand that we come from kings and queens, that we are the source, without us, nothing moves.
The whole world needs Black power. And as long as Black power is suffering, steal from us, rob from us, beat us down, chain us, and they not gonna suffer from that.
No Chinese person, no Latino, no Arab, no Jew, no white man has ever had to be asked such a question.
Nobody complains when an Indian man says he loves that Indian woman. Nobody complains when a Jewish man says, I want to do business with my Jewish brethren. Nobody says a damn thing when a Chinese man says, I only want to patronize Chinese businesses.
Other races feel threatened when Black people talk about putting Black people first because they're smart, because they get it. They understand, quietest kept elephant in the room, that we're actually in a race.
I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Filmmaker Ric Mathis and I present the thought-provoking film B1 the Movie, a documentary that examines what it's going to take for us to start putting Black people first. However, the truth is that we're already first. We just need to accept it.
Wow.
Man, look.
Thank you.
All I can say is, Brother Rick,
wake that ass up
in the morning. Sorry,
Breakfast Club.
All I could say is, brother, you are which 1000% in terms of being unashamed, unafraid, being bold to say what is really natural. I mean, the thing is, we hear it all the time, right? When we get on the airplane, they tell you, put your mask on first. If we start losing cabin pressure, you're going to see these masks come out the ceiling. Put yours on first, and then put the, for the children and anyone else. And somehow that makes sense in that context.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, we're back. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, we're gonna push on through. So, as I was saying, the logic behind putting the mask on yourself first, we understand that in that context, and we also understand it, interestingly, when we see it, other people demonstrating, like Brother Reza Islam stated in the trailer, we don't have any problem when we see the Indians or the Asian communities, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Indians. But when it comes to us, it's some kind of what Dr. Wesley Muhammad, he educated me on the term cognitive dissonance. We experience a cognitive dissonance when it comes to seeing us looking out for us first. So that statement being put up front, I wanted to really give you an opportunity to share what is really the motivation for you. What was really at the impetus behind you deciding to put this film together along with Dr. Boyce Watkins?
Man, so Doc reached out to me. I don't know if you're familiar with his platform.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
on his platform, he's been using the term, B1, which means simply when he comes on, put black first.
Yes.
So when he comes on, his live or his chat, he say, hey, put B1 in the chat, because on this platform, we put black first. So he reached out to me, say, hey man, I want to do a documentary for B1, and I want you to produce it. I want you to direct it. Would you be, are you interested in working with me? And I said, man, it would definitely be an honor to work with you on that film, man. So from there, man, I just kind of start brainstorming and coming up with different concepts and things like that. But essentially, man, putting black first means that you're looking out for you and yours and your family first.
Yes.
Over anybody else. The motivation behind it was, during the pandemic in 2020, we had the opportunity to see the world be shut down globally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So with the world being shut down and you not knowing, where you're going to get your food from, how you're going to, pay for your living expenses and all of that, it really just amplified the fact that we need to start putting ourselves first. We need to start creating our own, from being able to to feed ourselves, food, clothing, and shelter, to be able to have just the basic necessities. I mean, when you really think about it, we depend on someone else to, number one, feed us. Let's just look at that for the most part. Yeah. Just feed us, because most of us go to grocery stores that are not owned by people that look like us.
Exactly.
So if they decide that, hey, we're going to close this grocery store, then what do we do? Now, I know some farmers in the community, in the city that, that I can go to. But at the end of the day, we got to go from the farm to the grocery store to the table. We got to own that supply chain.
That's
you know what I mean? So just feeding ourselves, man. It's time for us to really own and take care of ourselves. We've been taking care of other people, since America came into existence, since they disrupted the people of color that was already here, the people that look like me and you, since they disrupted that process. We've been relying on someone else to feed us, to clothe us, to shelter us. So now it's time for us. It's a new day. It's a new age. The planets are aligned. It's time for us to now depend on us.
Mm-hmm.
We're the most creative people on the planet. It's time for us to depend on us and to actually start to do those things, where we own our land, we grow our food, we have clothing, we have shelter, and we're controlling that whole supply chain so we don't have to depend on anyone else.
If I may, if we can kind of roll this clock back just a little bit, what was the initial conversation with Dr. Boyce Watkins? Like, what did that sound like? Because I mean, I listened to brother, off and on through at least the past year and a half or so, prior to him getting married and then after. But what was that conversation like?
I mean, pretty much, he reached out to me, texted and said, hey, Rick, I want to schedule a call, man, so we can have a meeting. I got something I want to talk to you about. And so we scheduled a time. And basically he was like, I've been repping B1 now for a few years. And I want you to come on board and produce and direct the film B1 the movie. And I was like, what? I said, man, that would be an honor, because it's already a built-in audience, and I stand for everything that, he talks about in B1. So then the thing with me was, okay, let's come up with a concept. Mm-hmm. So I'm wrecking my brain trying to come up with a concept. And then, the first question just fell into my spirit. During the pandemic, it's like, what is it going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first? Just think about that question for a minute. Like, what is it really going to take? We put everybody else first before us. But what is it going to take for us to start loving on ourselves and putting us first? We're such a loving people. It's in our nature to love on people and put other people first. But I think right now we have to really start to think about what is it going to take for us to put ourselves first, because you use the analogy of the airplane. We can love on people on the plane and help save other people, but if we don't have our oxygen mask on, then we could possibly die on that plane.
That's right.
If the plane goes down.
Well,
so that's where we are.
Lives.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you know, we've taken care of the slave masters' kids, where Black women actually had, you know, them on their nipple. You know what I'm saying? We've cooked for them. We've cleaned for them. We fed their children. You know what I mean? We've built America, you know, from the schools to the bridges to cutting down trees to running the bears out of the woods, the deer out of the woods. We've done that. Yep. Now America is built. America is one of the richest countries in the world because of the free land and the free labor that it had, that jumpstart that it had.
Say that.
Now, Joe Biden want to offer us crack pipes, where he's giving other races and ethnicities money in reparations.
Ridiculous.
When we built this, you know what I'm saying? So the thing that I say is, it's time out for looking for handouts. True, we built this, but how do we build a nation within this nation that we've already built?
You know, when I'm listening to your response to that question, the first thing I'm thinking about is Dr. Naeem Akbar, where he has a wonderful book entitled The Chains of Psychological Slavery. And in this book, he talks about how a lot of the things that we learned as in the most brutal points of slavery that we've experienced, we have taken that legacy all the way up until present context. So the fact that we were basically stripped of our identity and dehumanized and forced to rely so heavily on our former slave masters put us in a position where it became second nature for us to depend on the Caucasian for everything that we need. And so here we are in 2022, and to your point, when there's a shutdown, we're still looking to go to Publix and Kroger, right? Or Walmart to get food. We're still, what was the other thing that we talked about, honey, when it came to the shutdown that was also, I mean, it was just so, in terms of the vaccine. And I know they'll probably say something about this video, but the fact that we are relying on other people to do the science for us.
Right.
And then people who've never cared about us all of a sudden give a hoot nanny and want to give us something that's supposed to preserve our life, when everything that has been done prior to that has been the counter of helping us to survive, you know, but yet we have hundreds of HBCUs and none of them were given funding for research and for development. Right. So the funding was cut. Right. But we got this so-called holiday. Right. And that was supposed to be the pacifier for even getting people placed in positions of leadership. So I say all that to say that psychologically, it's like we don't believe that we should be autonomous in some respect. And of course we have exceptions, but the masses of us are still looking for someone else to do for us what we can do for ourselves. What was it like when you were actually putting the film together? Because I know there's several stages in the film development process, right? So you started with the initial conversation with Dr. Watkins. How did you take that conversation and then produce it in such a way that visually you told a story?
So what I did was I really looked at like where are we now, and what are some of the root causes of of like where we are, or what has led to where we are now, so to speak. So
Yes.
looked at where we are now and what are some of the root causes that led to us to be at this point. And basically what I did was I took those visuals, those conversations, those narratives, those storylines, and I wove them in together. So basically I took that one question, what is it going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first? And I pull back the layers. What is it going to take? For one, I know most people is going to say it's going to take love. Okay, love, what does that look like? It's going to take trust. What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? It's going to take us opening businesses, because the thing is, the last thing I want to do is preach about the problem and complain about the problem, but not really provide real solutions that people can readily apply after watching the film. So what I wanted to do was look at people that were actually doing things. Like when you look at the family that bought the land here in Middle Georgia, and they came together and they bought land and they're starting a town, Freedom Town or Freedom, Georgia.
That's right.
When you look at the organization with Brother Ben X and Farrakhan Ali, with Marlena, and they're buying land in North Georgia with the Lakes of Somerville. They're actually buying land, and they're pooling like-minded people together to start to do things. Because, you know, there's three principles when you look at B1, the B1 philosophy. The first is really connecting to like-minded people, finding your tribe. That's the first thing you have to do.
Yes, sir.
You really got to connect with like-minded people, because there are a lot of people are not going to connect with you. A lot of people are not going to really feel and gravitate to what you're talking about. You know, you're talking about moving out of the city and, you know, having some land with some people and building houses and a farm and an irrigation system and all of that. Like, you crazy. Like, why are you leaving the city? You know, so everybody's not going to see the vision. Everybody's not going to connect with it. But it's the small group of people that see the vision, that connect with what you're saying, are the people that you're going to have to align yourself with, because who knows what's coming down the pipeline. You know what I mean? I mean, you got protests literally all over the world now with these mandated vaccinations.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
As close
so
as
people
Canada.
are in the uproar. Exactly. You know, they got the truckers in Canada. So, I mean, people are in an uproar about this. And there's even talks about, you know, a protest happening in LA with truckers during the Super Bowl this coming weekend. So I don't know if you've heard that. But but that's the thing. So there's a lot of protests. There's a lot of quote unquote tension and fear in the atmosphere. So it's like, what do you do? And then the question that I ask, which we ask in the film, or we conclude with, is, do you and your family have the resources and the skill set to survive another pandemic?
Great question.
That's what you really got to ask yourself. What skills, what resources do I have, or my family? And your family doesn't have to be your blood family. It could be a family of like-minded people.
That's right.
What do we have to survive another pandemic? That's what you got to ask yourself. That's where the rubber meets the road.
That's right.
And it's beautiful, the examples that you highlighted in terms of the brother Ben X's and the Freedom Town and others. But one thing that my husband and I, you know, learned and really kind of moved forward personally is understanding that it doesn't take a lot of land to feed yourself and others. You know, we were, you know, two of our main mentors, if we could say, is Baba Rashid Nuri, who is, you know, definitely the godfather of urban agriculture in our community, as well as Brother Patrick Muhammad at Your Faith Farms. And one of the things that we learned from both of them is that you can take even a quarter of an acre or half an acre or an acre and really grow a lot of food. Not just for your family. You'll have more than enough for your family.
Absolutely.
You'll have enough for yourself and for the community at large. Like we have our Golden Girls, which is our 14 egg laying hens. And we get at least between 12 and 15 eggs every single day. So, so if you can imagine, you know, if people just, you know, started where they are growing, their own food. Start, sometimes it's about the small steps, right? You may not necessarily be in a position to join on with a bigger group and spend more money in terms of committing it to housing and things of that nature. But if you can start where you are and little by little take ownership of growing your own food and doing things for yourself, to me, it's a great beginning. And then you can network, like you said, with other like-minded people that do things that you don't know how to do. And to me, that's about a part of building, an ecosystem by which we can really grow and become autonomous. Isn't that how the first Black towns got started? Right?
Exactly.
Not everybody had money. You're talking about coming, post-emancipation, right? But they took the skills that they had and they used it to feed off of one another and strengthen each other.
Dr. Claude Anderson said in the film, in question three in the film is, why do other races feel threatened when Black people simply talk about putting Black people first? So in the film, Dr. Claude Anderson really breaks down how it was a race to get to America. And that's how the term race came about, because it was literally a race from Europe to get to America. Because when you got to America, you got free land and you had servants, which were our ancestors, that would give you, would produce wealth. So one of the things that he said is, when we came here, the ones that did come on a boat, when they came here, they were wealthy. Why were they wealthy? The reason why they were wealthy is because if you really understand history, the slaves that were bought here, or our ancestors that were bought here, were skilled people. They were farmers. They were masons. Steel, what do you call the term for welders when they deal with steel and stuff?
Yes.
But the point that I'm making is, they were very skilled people. They were not just people that just, we just found these people, on the side of the road broke down. No, these were skilled people. They were skilled laborers. So when they came to America, they were wealthy because there was land here and we had the skills to work the land. Because without the skill and without the manpower to work the land didn't mean anything.
That's right.
So we were actually wealthy when we got here. We were very strong and powerful and skilled people. So when we came
educated.
Here, and educated. And that's the part, that that's left out of the history books, because we're not writing our stories, which is the reason why I started making films, so that I could tell our stories and tell it the right way. But he tells the story of how it was a race to get to America in the 1400s, 1500s. And once, the people got here, because they were all immigrants that came here, and they were people that were broken down and that they let out of jails, and that, were had mental issues and things like that, because it was a lot of violence going on in Europe during that time, during the 1400s. So they say they came here looking for religion, but in actuality, they was looking for wealth. They was looking to come up. They were looking for the bag, quote unquote. Just, So,
brother.
Yeah. So when they get here, now they get X amount of acres. I think it was 650 acres, he says in the film, but they get 650 acres, and then they get X amount of additional acres per slave that they own. So it was economics off the bat. So once they went from the 1500s to the 1700s, where they had built this particular economic powerhouse here, they say, well, shoot, we've built this economic powerhouse. We got to do something to protect it. And this is how he tells the story. So the thing that they did was they wrote the U.S. Constitution. But if you read the Constitution, and I challenge each of you to read the Constitution, because that's the foundation on which America is built on. we're not included in the Constitution. When they refer to black people in the Constitution, they use broad and ambiguous terms.
Mm-hmm.
When they refer to them in the Constitution, you know exactly who they're talking about. So what has happened is they've written a Constitution so that the wealth could be locked in their hands, the land, the resources, the money. All of that is now locked. Like Dr. Claude Anderson say, we owned and control less than 0.5% of wealth in America. And that's still the case now. We still own and control less than 0.5%. So that's what slavery was all about. It was about creating this wealth, allowing America to become a powerhouse off of free land and free labor, and then writing a constitution that didn't include us, which is why they had to write the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and the 15th Amendment to, quote unquote, try to give us or pretend that they're giving us rights and citizenship.
Exactly.
Because the other part that he tells, which was so like going through production of this film is like getting a doctorate degree, because I learned a lot listening to some of the greatest minds in America that are being featured in this film. So one of the things that he said is after they wrote the Constitution, then we actually went and fought in the Civil War, because Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. The reason why he signed that is because they were losing the war against the North and the South. The North was losing the war. And the soldiers that they had enlisted actually ran off with guns and uniforms and everything. And so they needed bodies. So it wasn't that he felt sorry for us. He could care less. It was economics again.
That's right.
Because the slaves, the South had cotton. At that time, cotton was like oil. You see what I'm saying? So cotton was the money. So they had cotton. The North had not built the industrial industry that it built in the early 20s and on up until the 60s and 70s, that the Great Migration, that people went up to be a part of and work and make money. But so they hadn't built that. So what happened is he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and it, quote unquote, freed the slaves, but it was only for them to fight in the Civil War and win. So, once we get engaged, we excel at anything we do. We the best at it.
That's right.
So, of course, we beat the Confederates, which is why he says that's why the Proud Boys are now mad at us. But the thing that is so discouraging is that they didn't hold their end of the bargain. So when we fought in the Civil War, our payback was supposed to be that we were citizens and they were going to, protect us and look out for us. And what happened was, you can see that it didn't happen when you look at the Dred Scott decision, where Dred Scott actually took, his case to federal court and said, I am a citizen, Supreme Court, I am a citizen. You know what I mean? I am a citizen because of this document. You know what the Supreme Court said? We can't support that. We can't back that claim.
Because he was property.
He lost. Exactly, because you are property. So now when you fast forward to today, you still have a Voting Right Act that they still have to sign every 7 years to give us the right to vote. Because why? Because we're not true citizens of America. So I say all of that to say, and I share that story to let Black people know exactly where we are. So when you look at what's happening, with the George Floyds, with the Trayvon Martins that kicked it off, that's why we're not protected and we don't get the rights that other citizens get, because we're not true citizens. They still look at us as 3/5 of a man, or maybe even less than that. So the question then becomes, we're in this age now of technology and computers where we can do business globally, and we can actually build, globally without really needing this. How do we build a nation within a nation? How do we start to put ourselves first and use our insight, our creativity, our knowledge, our skill set, so that it directly benefits us. Because what has happened is, with capitalism has milked us of our resources, of our knowledge, of who we are, of our skill sets. And now we do the labor, and white people get all of the benefits from it. Other races get all the benefits. So how do we build something that we then protect with our life? Because a lot of people say, well, we built Black Wall Street, but you saw they drop bombs on it. No, we got to be ready to protect what we have with our life, because at the end of the day, our life really depends on it, and our kids' life really depends on it.
That's right.
So that's the question. How do we start to put us first? Because we got to understand that it's a race, but not only is it a race, it's warfare. It's spiritual warfare that's going on right now. So that's really the root of the film. And, you know, and what's going on? Like, what is it going to take? You know what I'm saying? For Black people to start putting Black people first. And the thing that I say we have to do is we got to stop falling for the little trinkets and the shiny gold apple that they wave before us. You know what I mean? You want this house, you want this Bentley, you want this. True, it's cool to enjoy those things, but we can create all of that stuff ourselves and really own more and control more if we did it a different way. You know, you look at Whoopi Goldberg, changed her name from, what is it, Karen Elaine Johnson to Whoopi Goldberg, and trying to be a Jew. You know what I'm saying? I got love for my sister, but at the end of the day, you're not one of them.
That's right.
You're born on the team of Black people. You can't be traded. You can't. You got to play for the team that you're born on.
Yes.
You can't rename yourself and think that the other races are going to accept you. They're not.
That's right.
And this is to any Black people that's listening. They're not going to accept you. The only people that's going to accept you is your Black race, the team that you were born on. Play for the team that you were born on. If not, the team loses by default. So we got to learn how to play on the team that we're born on. Period.
Well, I don't want to get too far into Whoopi, but I'll say this real quick, because you done struck a nerve with that one. If we didn't get anything out of that confusion, it caused us to ask the question, what does it mean to be Jewish? Is it a race or ethnicity? Or is it a religion? One who follows Judaism. Because then when we understand it in that context, then she could be Jewish. Shoot, the original Jews were Black. Exactly. So we really want to talk about it. But I think if nothing more, it opened up a conversation about it. And the more that you're sharing, dear brother Rick, the more I'm like, shoot, you got your work cut out, brother. You got many more films that need to be out there. You know, I'm thinking about a narrative on the Black towns, because not all of them were destroyed. We have some that are still thriving today, but most of us don't even know it. I got one of my business partners lives in one in Florida, right? So we still have Black towns. We still have towns that are owned by Black people, that are ran by Black people, that have successful businesses in these towns. And these are the kinds of stories, like you're saying, that we need to see, even as adults, and our children need to see it. They need to see it too. And there's something so powerful. After we come out of the break, I would really love for you to touch on the power of image, the power of visual, because we tell stories, which is a part of our legacy, but there's something about the visuals. So we're just going to do a quick commercial break, brother, and then we're going to come back to you, because we want to hear this. This gets into the science, y'all, of what it is that our dear brother is doing. We ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna cut to our commercial.
It's a book that I know you're gonna feel. This is Mansoor and the Mysterious Wheel. Facing plenty challenges, a journey to explore. Found a friend on the wheel, and it's so much more. Written by Mansoor Muhammad at the age of 11. Been writing since 5, the second book out of 7. Teaching character building, like courage for children, like honesty and how we can practice social distance. Hey, Mansoor and the Mysterious Wheel.
Magnolia Crescent Orchards presents 100% non-alcoholic wines and sparkling teas. We offer halal certified, organic, vegan-friendly, 100% non-alcoholic wines. Shop today at our website, magnoliacrescent.farm. Try our non-alcoholic Chardonnays, Rosé, and more. magnoliacrescent.farm. All right, we are back. We have one more commercial. We're going to bring on our dear sister from B-Ham, from Birmingham, Alabama. How you doing, Chef April?
Assalamualaikum. Peace and blessings. I'm well. How's everyone there?
I'm doing well. So what's going on tomorrow, sis?
Ooh, we about to turn up. We about
What's
to turn up
happening in
Atlanta? Listen, I'm getting ready right now. I'm just popping in because we're getting ready. Because we coming to the A, y'all. We coming to Atlanta. Now. And we're gonna bring some flavor. I know y'all got this Magic City thing going on in Atlanta, but I'm talking about Birmingham, everything Magic City here. So we bringing some Magic City flavors to Atlanta from the chocolate chef, and then we're gonna do a cake and sip, the Black Love version of cake and sip. I think we're gonna have to have a part 2 on this one too, because y'all just don't know. We really about to turn up. Like really about to turn up. We're gonna have good music. We're gonna have knowledge that's gonna empower you, to really decorate a cake. And you will know about wine pairings, non-alcoholic wine pairings. And even if you're a wine drinker, you will be able to take that same knowledge and apply it as well. So we're gonna have a very, very inviting space that we want you all to come into, and fun. That's the main thing. And our whole concept for this Black Love, now, it doesn't have to be a husband, wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend. It can be a mother-daughter. It can be, 2 friends. Anybody you want to show some Black Love to. It's tomorrow at 1:30 to 3:30 at X Creative Spaces in Atlanta, Georgia. I forget the address. I forget the road and the street, but I know it's Atlanta.
Right. Look, Anthony on it.
Look, we got the link here. That's right. We got the link here. So
yeah.
Listen.
So yeah, and it's $99, and that includes everything, the wine tasting. Each individual will have their own cake, so it's not 1 cake per couple, it's 2 cakes per couple. And you get a little light snack or something. I would like to say pairings with your wines as we go along. So I promise y'all, you don't want to miss this. It's going to be super exciting. We're going to have some really good music. I got my playlist together, y'all. So
ooh, not the playlist.
Got that playlist. Yes.
Look, I get all my new music from off of your Facebook page. So I'm just gonna put that out there. That's my secret, y'all.
Listen, I know, right?
It's true. But She biting, Sister April.
Look, hey, I'm celebrating my sister.
I know. I'm excited, y'all. But we're getting ready and getting packed up so we can come on down there tomorrow. And hopefully come back at another time too, because I know it's the Super Bowl. Now let me tell y'all, I know it's a lot of activities going on this weekend, but this is earlier in the day. You still can have the rest of the weekend, the rest of the day to enjoy your significant other, friends, family, whatever. But I promise y'all, this is like 2 classes in one. 2 classes, and it's fun. Can't beat that.
Oh, and wait, we got to mention y'all. Her cakes are
the truth. Goodness. Yeah.
And her buttercream.
Oh, that buttercream. They just get buttercream and put it to the side every time we do a thing.
Look, we grown people. We ain't got to tell nobody what we do with our buttercream. Thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. It's good though. It's good.
But, oh, it's the bomb. So look, my husband has put the flyer up on the screen. This is look, this your last opportunity, y'all, to get your tickets.
Yep.
We're not having another one until next year, 2023.
Right.
God willing. $99. If you look, go ahead and send it to the Cash App, y'all. Send 102 because you know there's a handling fee. Send 102, right? To Magic City Flavors with an S. And that locks in a ticket for you and your significant other, y'all. 2 events for the price of 1. Where else can you go in the city and get 2, not just mediocre type things? I'm talking about some incredible events under one roof.
Come on now. We're not serving cupcakes and a little. Listen, I ain't got nothing else to say.
Sis,
you just gotta get there. You just gotta get there because look, and we really gonna. You're gonna be empowered. You're gonna be able to decorate a cake to pull out your creativity with this day. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna guide you and give you some terminology, but then you go home and you get to, like you said, use that buttercream. But that cake, oh my goodness! So you got a beautiful dessert, and you're gonna have some specialty chocolates coming. Y'all don't even know
from the Tipsy Baker, y'all.
Yes.
He's coming official with the chocolate dip Oreos, and I'm telling you, they are official.
And so come on through by midnight tonight. Come on, don't be the walk-up crowd. Don't do that. Birmingham known for walk-up. That's why they don't do concerts here.
Let me say this to the brothers out there, because you know how we get sometimes when it comes to any occasions that we have to do something nice for the ladies in our lives. We may forget. And we scrambling at the last minute trying to figure out, man, what I'm gonna do for anniversary, what I'm gonna do for the birthday, what I'm gonna do for Valentine's Day in this instance, or what we call the Black Love Day. We've kind of rebranded it. We call it the Black Love Day. So we have taken the anxiety out of it for you, brother. If you are one of these who have not figured out what you want to do for your special someone, look, all you have to do is go to this site here, this bit.ly link, bit.ly/BLCakeSip. It brings up the Eventbrite page where you get all the details about the event. You can purchase your tickets there, or like we said, you can actually go to Cash App right here, Magic City Flavors, and this is the price, 102. There are some fees associated with it, but it's not as much as it is if you go through the Eventbrite. So please, come on, brothers. Don't embarrass yourself.
Right.
DJ Tyler was said, don't play yourself. Come on now. Come through.
Well, we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Come on.
Yes.
And they can get some wines, even if they don't come to the actual event. They can always come and purchase wines too, because I heard somebody stocked up.
What?
Ooh-wee.
Let me tell y'all something. We don't have the whack wines, y'all.
Come on now. Come on.
Y'all have not tasted non-alcoholic wines, sparkling teas, and spirit alternatives until you've had them from Magnolia Crescent Orchard, y'all.
Yes.
I just put that out there because I think some people really sleeping on us, y'all. But every time we are out in the community at a pop-up and they come to our table for our impromptu wine tastings, nobody walks away from the table without a bottle.
Right.
You get a wine.
Right. You get a wine. Y'all all get a wine.
Look, they all come the same way. I never had it before. I think it's going to be like grape juice.
Right.
And then they drink it. Oh my God. Yeah, we love it. We eat it up, y'all.
That's going to be you tomorrow.
Yes. All right, family.
Come on out, y'all. We are fully stocked. We have some new non-alcoholic wines that we are bringing to the event. We have some surprises that even the chocolate chef don't even know about yet.
Nope.
She's gonna be surprised.
I'm excited.
She's gonna be surprised. You just gonna be on the floor, y'all.
I'm excited.
All right, but we're gonna wrap it up. We thank you so much, Chef April.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Yes.
I got your pie, brother. It's right there. I'm boxing it up. I'm done. All right, y'all. I did my part. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
We love you too. See you tomorrow, sis.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Let's bring brother.
All right.
Back. Yeah.
You got it?
I got him. All right.
Here we go, brother Rick.
Listen, before we go back, I wanted to say something because we had one of our audience members is a brother named Devin Gordine. He's in Chicago. And look, I love the trailer. I'm from Chicago, Brother Rick. And so when I saw the skyline in the backdrop, I'm like, yes, I got to see the city. Brother Devin, he is the vice president of a political action committee that was formed in Chicago called What's in It for the Black People. And then shout out to Brother Mays Jackson, who was the founder of not only the Political Action Committee, but also What's in It for the Black People Media, which is based in Chicago. I bring that up because Brother Mays, who is had a career as a political lobbyist in Illinois, did a lot of work with aldermen, working with state politicians on the state level. He has taken his political knowledge and years of experience in what he likes to call the dark arts, the game from politics, and bringing it to people. And the reason why I bring that up is because he is working to develop a third political force in Illinois called the Black People First Party. So I think there's a lot of synergy with what your film is talking about, from, you know, just covering it from a cultural perspective, from an economic perspective, and how the What's in It for the Black People Political Action Committee and what they're doing. They're actually they're right now in the process of hosting meetings in different wards. You know, like, you know, here in Atlanta, you have these zones and stuff like that. Well, in Chicago, or MPUs, in Chicago, they have wards. That's how the city is broken down politically. So each ward, the members of the WIFTABA, which is What's in It for the Black People for short, the WIFTABA organizing at least 20 members in each of these wards, predominantly Black wards, not only in the city of Chicago, but in the outlying suburban areas and what they call townships, to try to really get us to thinking, put ourselves first. So the fact that you are bringing this film out to the people, it's just, to me, a bearing of witness that the time is ripe, brother.
Yes.
Dr. Watkins, and what you're doing is right on time, and it is going to resonate. And so I know Professor Lotus wanted to really get into talking about the power of the visual aspect to this conversation, because you are, you know, Professor Lotus and myself were both members of the Nation of Islam. And as I'm sure you're aware, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Louis Farrakhan, we've been preaching separation for years.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why we got mislabeled as being separatists, when really we were just trying to put the mask on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So now to have this work of art, this labor of your love and Dr. Watkins' love for our people, for you to put it in a way that I think makes it more palatable, is so powerful. And one thing that you were saying, and I'm reminded of Sister Dr. Ava Muhammad. She says this often when it relates to the great migration of our people going north from the south. She said it didn't happen in one big wave. You may have had one or two families who made it up to the north, and they was like, it's cool up here, y'all. Word get back to the family south. So you start to see more and more trickle in, and then it eventually became what now is known as the Great Migration. But this wasn't this big mass of people right out the gate. It started out with a small few, and then it became the multitude. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to put that out there, because sometimes we as individuals, we don't see the multitude jumping on board right out the gate. We get discouraged, but that's only because we don't understand history.
Right.
Nothing that we've ever done started out with just this big mass movement. It started out slow. There was a big trickle, and then eventually the floodgates opened up. So I just wanted to put that out there, my brother.
I agree, man. You know, you got to have vision. You got to be a visionary.
Yes, yes. So Professor Lotus, go ahead with your question in terms of the visual aspect.
Yes, I really would love for you to speak to the power of the image, of the imagery.
Yes.
Especially when you're talking about, really, it's a form of activism. And so I really would like to kind of get your thoughts on what you think is the powerful aspect of the image, especially when we're talking about propelling, I don't want to say initiatives, but movements. What is it about the image that makes it so powerful?
Wow, that's a great question. When you look at, they say an image is worth 1,000 words. So if an image is worth 1,000 words, how many words is a motion picture worth? You know what I mean? You look at the greats like Gordon Parks, who used his camera as a weapon you know, to capture certain images of what was going on during his particular time. So with imagery is very powerful in that we're in the age of media right now. You know, one of the questions in the film is what role does media play when it comes to Black people putting Black people first?
Yes.
So we're talking about film, we're talking about music, and we're talking about social media.
Yes.
Though, if you really look at it, those are the three things now that are really controlling the minds of our people. You know, that's how we're influencing one another through music, through film, through social media. So when you ask how powerful that is, I think it's one of the most powerful tools on the planet right now, which is why I chose to create films and tell our story, because it's important that we start to tell our story and we start to use imagery and sounds, word sound that is that really resonates with the people. You know, we're musical people. The way we learn is through music.
Yes.
You know, we learn by passing down. The griot would recite certain songs and do certain chants and certain dances in a circle, and that's how we learn. That's where the cipher comes from in hip hop. It's our natural way of order of things. It's the way we learn. So when you ask, you know, how powerful, I mean, it's very powerful, which is why you can't say certain words right now on this media platform, because those words have power.
Yes.
And the imagery and certain things that you talk about has power. So that's how powerful it is. It's very powerful. And we're at a time now where the music and the imagery, you will start to see it change, because people are fed up with a lot of the old music, the old way of doing things, the old stories. You know, they're fed up with it. It's time for new stories and refreshing music, and, you know, music that inspires, that uplifts. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius now, the age of information, the age of enlightenment. So therefore, we're in our light body state. So therefore, things have to be lighter and funny and uplifting and happy. You know, so that's where we are with media. So, you know, you'll see a lot of that in the film as well. I mean, speech, he speaks to that. He talks about how in France, 30% of the content that goes throughout the airwaves or the waves on the radio station has to be created by people of French ethnicity. 30% of the content, you know, it has to be created by people that are actually natives. And the same thing in Japan, you know, so that tells you how powerful it is.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm glad you brought up Japan, because what came to mind, I was recently listening to something where they were talking about on their internet search engines and their social media that they implement algorithms that will weed out any content that is not of an affirming quality. It's like the algorithm will just flood you with a bunch of nonsense. They flip it on the other side. They're filtering out the garbage, and they were only allowing to be featured on their platforms that which will be affirming to that people. So, you know, that's just I think that's an example for us of when we put ourselves first and what is in our best interest, and we apply all of the ingenuity, like you spoke of, our creative energies. We have it. You know, one thing that you know, when you're talking to people, because even, and I'm sure, and I would love to get, you know, your thoughts about what has been some of the feedback. But normally when it comes to Black people speaking about doing something for ourselves, we automatically have like a reflex mechanism where we start to look at the negative aspects of what we've been doing. You know, that corrupt politician, that businessman, you know, this person who was on drugs. But I'm like, look, we as Black people, America, in this, even though, like you stated earlier, we are the foundation with our free labor and our bodies, But to this day, there's not one level of government, there's not one corporate entity that exists where you don't have the ingenuity in the minds of Black people. So we are demonstrating day in and day out that we are capable of governing our own affairs because we do it for other people. The problem is we don't do it for ourselves. You know, you got mayors and governors and county managers, city managers, you got CEOs of big corporations. So these people who own these entities, they don't seem to have any problem with putting Black people in positions of leadership because they know they'll get the job done. We just don't look at it for ourselves and to be able to see we already doing it. We're just not doing it for ourselves. But I did want to ask you what has been, okay, go ahead. And then I wanted to find out after you respond, what has been some of the feedback you've gotten as you've been screening this movie throughout the country?
Yeah, well, the trailer, I mean, we just released the trailer last week.
Gotcha.
The feedback that we've gotten has been pretty much 95% positive thumbs up. You know, you're going to have some people that, you know, dissect it and say, well, it sounds preachy, or why it's all Black people, or, you know. So, you know, we've gotten those feedback, that type of feedback. But for the most part, I mean, it's been positive. People are, you know, really excited about it. And, you know, it's a timely film. That's what most people are saying, like, is perfect timing for it, because Black people are ready to put themselves first. I think we really just need a blueprint and some marching orders on how to start doing that.
That's really interesting that you say someone's feedback was why is it all Black people? You know, the question I would ask is, do you ask your next door neighbor to give you advice about what's happening in your house? And the question is probably going to be no. So then why would we do that with others? But I think it's incredible that the feedback has been very embracing and very positive and affirming. You know, you kind of touched on this a little bit, and I really would love for you to expound. And it's not that you are incapable through this film of overcoming it, but I think it's important because it speaks to a larger conversation that we need to have about censorship. I think what makes places like Japan, they've been doing a complete sweep of their media for their own reasons. And you know, I think the difference is these are countries that are predominantly a specific nationality and ethnicity, right? While we live in a country that is exceptionally diverse, right? It's called the Great Experiment, right? Because there's so many diverse cultures and nationalities, and even though eventually people take on the nationality of being American, but for the most part, you're talking about people that are coming from all parts of the world, right? So trying to censor becomes for us shutting down our voice. And so my question to you is, you know, with your film, do you anticipate or have you experienced any form of censorship? And if so, what are your thoughts about what they call themselves censoring exactly?
I mean, we really hadn't experienced any censorship, like, you know, in this film. In B1, we blackity black. So, you know, so if that's not your MO, if that's not the vibration that you own, then this might not be for you.
Right.
But the thing we are looking to do is we're looking to spark the conversation to unify like-minded Black people.
Well,
so that's really what we want.
Well, I'm referring more so on these platforms, because even something that you mentioned a moment ago is, you know, these certain words you can't say. There's certain conversations that you cannot have. So how do you navigate that and still present this body of work that is so necessary when you're feeding it into platforms that are anti-real, truthful conversations?
Question.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, luckily, I know a lot of people in media, you know, being that I, you know, have been in media for the past about 20 years now. So I know a lot of people in media, from PR people to, you know, writers and journalists and all of that. So with me, I have a relationship, and Dr. Boyce Watkins, you know, has a platform where, you know, we can put all of these conversations on that platform. So it's a little different for us because of our reach and the fact that, even when I produced Black Friday, like, I had a certain amount of support and people are still supporting, my films and my work. So it's like I've garnered a certain audience already that's waiting on a new project.
Awesome.
So it's a little different, for us because we kind of already have a platform and a captivated audience.
Awesome. And are there independent platforms that, because when we talk about the ownership and putting ourselves first, are there any independent platforms that maybe you want to share that we can begin to be aware of that we need to support, that do champion getting truth out, getting conversations out about that are important to us? Of course, outside of talks.
Yeah, one I would say is Quality TV. I mean, the young sister that's based out of DC, she has a platform where she showcases, independent Black filmmakers, and it's called Quality TV.
Can you spell that for me, please? Because we're going to put it up on the screen.
AWELI TV.
AWELI
TV.
Awesome.
Yeah, Quality is definitely one. But I mean, there's platforms. I was just talking to a guy that I knew for 15, 20 years. He said, Rick, I'm creating a platform for educators, So it's a lot of niche platforms, digital platforms that are popping up.
I wish we had some sort of directory of platforms. Obviously, we know, that we can go to and just know what's out there. We have, and I'm sorry, it escapes me, and I should know what it is. What is the platform? Nation One? Is that correct?
Yeah, I heard a Nation One or something like that. Yeah.
So that's another independent platform that's subscription based. But I'm sure there's more. But I think when we talk,
Mystic Circle TV is one that that's Black owned, and it showcases a lot of work when it comes to spirituality. Mystic Circle TV is another platform. So I mean, there's a lot of them out there, and then there's some that are not Black owned, but they put Black faces up front. So you have those as well too. So,
and we need to be aware of those as well, because he who pays the piper calls the tune. And so the conversation can't be a pure conversation if the source has been compromised in any way.
Exactly. Exactly.
In any way.
So it's a lot of.
I was asking earlier about. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, are you planning to do any public screenings once the film is ready to be seen on a big scale? Are you planning to do any screenings, and will you all publish like a list of cities and locations that we would like to share? We want to be a part of promoting this. So so please.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely share it. So we will do a B1 the movie tour.
Okay.
And that tour will kick off in a few months in Atlanta, Georgia. So
awesome.
It's only right.
Y'all are based here.
Absolutely.
So I'll definitely let y'all know when that is and what theater or what venue we'll host that at. But yeah, definitely we'll be doing all of that. And then we'll also start kicking off, the B1 table talks. So we can actually bring, the people that are in the film to a round table setting and, talk about the film and have some dialogue about, some more solutions, some real solutions.
Awesome.
That's a great point. And I think I was thinking about that. Like, you and Dr. Watkins, are there any particular outcomes that you envision having in addition to spreading information, right?
Great question.
Because I'm thinking, all across the nation. Here in Georgia, our sister Stacey Abrams is considering running for the governorship again. And conversations like this, I think, can have potentially a significant impact in shaping the course of what's going on across the nation, where Black people live in these major urban areas, politically, and of course, public policy drives a lot of what goes on economically, etc. I think even with the seemingly resurgence in HBCUs, when you have Coach Deion Sanders, and he's recruiting a lot of these top blue chip athletes from being caught up in predominantly white institutions, and now they're going to Jackson State, and you know what I mean? So what so I'm just wondering, do you all have any thought about what some of the outcomes potentially that can come from you all putting such quality information out to the world?
Great question.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's three principles that really the B1 movement rests on. One being connecting with your tribe, finding like-minded people so that you can build your tribe and your following. The other one is also creating jobs for people as well in the B1 community. So, you know, starting Black-owned businesses and creating jobs. And then the other one is a project that Dr. Watkins has that's called the 2070 Project, which started in 2020, where he says in the next 50 years, our young people will be number one in entrepreneurship, in business, in having their own and owning their own. Yes. So those are like the three principles that, you know, we would, that everything kind of evolves around. But the whole thing with us is really, you know, to have these conversations, but also give you an experience as well, you know, because we're very animated people and colorful people. So we really like to be creative and, you know, go out and have a good experience as well. So that's what we'll be bringing to the forefront around the B1 movement.
Absolutely, man. But I think those of us who are out on the front lines of community activism, social activism, economic and political activism, I think you have given us, and I'm including myself because I think I'm participating in one way or another, a tremendous alley-oop, if you will. It's like, you know, these kind of conversations, because, you know, sometimes it gets overly bogged down with technical jargon and we can be dogmatic. You know, Black people do, you know, sometimes we don't make room for a variety of thoughts and ideas about an idea. But I think this film, it makes it where we feel comfortable expanding our table and coming around and let's sit, because of the people that you have, they represent different spectrums of Black experience. And so I think you have given, you are empowering those activists to really help you take their work a little step further.
You know, I'm sitting here.
And at the end of the day, it's about connecting with your tribe. That's really what it's about. Like, there isn't one solution that's gonna fit everybody. Right. I mean, to think that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, connect with your tribe. You know, if you're in film, if you're in media, if you're in gardening, if you're in fashion, we're creating a platform so that you can connect with those tribes and those like-minded people and create Black excellence. That's simply what it is at the end of the day.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I was just going to add, I really hope and pray that, yes, with the community table talks, as you shared, that the community at large is engaged. But I would even humbly suggest that maybe even a secondary table talk be created specifically for HBCUs. And being a product of an HBCU, I can tell you firsthand, it is the recruitment ground for your Googles, for your Microsofts, for your, even in terms of graduate schools, or your Harvard universities and your Yale universities. And so what ends up happening is a lot of our bright minds that come out of HBCUs end up working for some of the companies and helping to propel their industries, instead of thinking creatively about how to create, like you said, our own reality, our own existence that is self-sufficient. So if we have the conversations on university campuses, then that gives our young adults, right? That gives our young adults an opportunity, while they're still in school, while they're still defining who they want to be and how they want to use the skills and the gifts that they've been given by the Creator, and start focusing that energy. So that way, when we talk about in 50 years, our people would be #1 in entrepreneurship, but it starts with planting the vision at a time when our young people are formulating the visions for their reality, for themselves, their families, and their communities. So I really hope and pray that that will at least be, considered when.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have relationships with a lot of HBCUs. Like I screened the film at several HBCUs. I also attended a HBCU. Shout out to Fort Valley State University.
Oh, wonderful.
That's where I got my start in college. State. So yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have those schools and those platforms involved.
Yeah.
Clark Atlanta is a partner. We've done some stuff over at Morehouse. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of relationship. Medgar Evers College in New York also. So we've done stuff at a lot of different colleges, HBCUs, across the country.
Love it. Because we definitely need to have this conversation. I mean, on all levels. Don't get me wrong, but I can really see that being a fruitful conversation. And I'm curious to know what our young people are thinking that are in the universities as it relates to this specific topic of putting us first. Putting Black first, have we gotten to the point where the generation that's coming up behind us has already learned that lesson and they're already on topic, or is it a situation where we're still having to convince ourselves, even our up and coming generations, or do you already have some feedback from those who are in the universities regarding putting
being Black right now is in style. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to be Black right now. Like it's in style. So a lot of young people are actually, gravitating to it and, putting Black first already. But the thing is, you need something for them to plug into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I tell you, Brother Ric Mathis, we're winding down to the end of this show. Boy, I mean, time truly flew by. This has just been such a thought-provoking conversation, and we thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Do you have any closing remarks as to where they can follow you? How do they get information about the screenings and all that good stuff? If you wouldn't mind sharing that with our viewers, please.
Yeah, definitely. So again, thank you all for having me on the show. Definitely an honor, to come on your platform and talk about B1, the movie. Yes. You can follow me at Ric Mathis, which is highlighted there in the lower third. And you also have B1, the movie on Instagram. So we have those pages, so you can follow the movement on there. We'll be posting, what we're doing, who's involved, sound bites and snippets and other, behind the scene images and videos, that we have from the production of the film. So definitely keep in contact with us there. And again, thank you all for sharing your platform. Y'all had some great questions and shared some great information. So I definitely appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you, big brother. And if you wouldn't mind also naming your previous films, because I think it's important for everybody to go back and watch those as well.
Yeah, so I'll actually be re-releasing the film Black Friday, which sparked the whole Black Friday film series in 2015, where we released the film Black Friday and then also Black Friday the Remix and Black Friday Part 2, the Living Legacy World Tour. We recreated those between the span of 2015 to 2017. Also created a film series called Word the Poetry DVD series, which we released, and that's going back. We released that, I think, in 2002, 2003. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of content that we produced. I mean, the thing that I always say, because I know I'm leaving something out, is just Google Ric Mathis, RIC Mathis on Instagram, and you'll see a host of information and content.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, we thank you again, big brother.
Thank you.
The honor was truly ours, brother. The honor was truly ours, and we can't wait to come to the screening. So please be sure to share that information.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you all know when the screening is. Definitely.
And we would love to have you back on so you can kind of talk about the details, even if it's just for a moment. Just kind of stop in and check in with us and let our audience know what's going on. We have a lot
of
people.
We definitely will let you know what's going on with B1 with the movement. You know,
yes.
B1, the B1.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of viewers that watch after our live. And so we look forward to circulating this information on various platforms. Like my husband mentioned, even out of Chicago, we have great connections. Matter of fact, a sister who is a part of With the Bow was on the show tonight, Sister Boosie. And I want to make sure that we holla at our sister and thank her for coming over and watching the show and checking in with us, as well as Brother Devin from With the Bow. Right. And I'm sure this information is going to get up to Brother Mays. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So probably anticipate a call out of Chicago.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, definitely. Chicago is my second home.
Yes, because I'm sure they're going to want you to come on there real quick.
Gotta get
you. Yeah, definitely.
And you know, my husband is the unofficial chairman of the Wuftaba Atlanta chapter. So
okay, that's what's up.
Don't be surprised if Brother Mays, says, "Well, I got somebody there in Atlanta," and then you're talking to Anthony again, right?
We got to make this happen, man. We got to make this happen, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and I'm really thank God that you and Dr. Boyce and those working with you put this out, because it's so timely, man. It really is. I really thank God for you brothers putting forth this effort and exercising your creative genius to bring this to life. So thank you again, brother.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Brother Ric.
All right.
Talk
Peace.
to you later. Peace.
All right, peace.
Wow, that was incredible.
It was.
Yes, I'm very pleased with the things that brother shared and just the dialogue about putting ourselves first. Why that, what our historical experiences have been that have led us to putting others before ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think films like this are very, very important. Like, we need to kind of put some of the other things aside and really focus on conversation and topics that really make us think about what we're doing so that we can change our behavior to something that's not counter survival.
And one thing that I just took is the idea of finding your tribe, because sometimes when we we have this idea and we believe it so strongly, and we want to spend a lot of time and energy trying to convince people to look at things my way, instead of their taking time to find somebody who agrees with you and then developing. It may be one person, but sometimes we spend the lion's share of our effort trying to convince the 99 instead of working with the one and maybe taking that one, and now we go get two more. Now that two turns to four and multiply that. So I think that's is brilliant. This platform, this movie is allowing the tribe to find one another.
Yes.
And like I stated, give the illustration, the Great Migration didn't happen in a big wave initially. It was a small trickle, and then it grew and expanded. So I'm so happy that Brother Ric and Dr. Boyce Watkins are doing this, and we can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
I can't either.
I can't wait to see it. So I know we're about to get ready to get up out of here.
But you talked about, and I thought this was an excellent segue, you talked about the importance of like-minded individuals coming together.
Yes.
I just want to hit one more time. Tomorrow is the Black Love Cake and Sip, y'all.
That's right.
And just the idea that you're going to be in a room with other people that look just like you, that are interested in celebrating love of ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's just the healthiest and the most loving thing we can do, is to celebrate loving ourselves and loving one another. And so tomorrow we're going to have a good time. We're going to learn a lot as it relates to cake, the art of cake decorating, and we're going to have a good time with that. And then we're also going to have a non-alcoholic wine tasting of a 100% non-alcoholic wine, sparkling teas, and spirit alternatives. And then in the midst of all that, we're going to be around like-minded individuals, people who are coming to have good, clean, wholesome fun with other people who love themselves and that are interested in loving Black people. And so we invite you to come out. My husband put the bit.ly at the bottom of the screen there. Please feel free to take that down. Or if all else fails and you can't remember all of that and you don't have time to jot it down, Cash App $102, 102 to Magic City Flavors with an S.
Yes, indeed. And I forgot, and we talked about this earlier, but I forgot because we just jumped right in. You know, like Professor Lotus was saying, there was another program going on in the studio, and we literally slid in here like we were sliding into home base. But we can't forget that where we are broadcasting from.
Yes,
we are broadcasting live from the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. Shout out to Brother MT, who had us on the Stakeholders series, Stakeholder Spotlight series, which is RICE's Instagram live show, where Brother MT highlights different stakeholders, and we share what being a part of this institution, I'm going to use the term,
that's a good word,
the RIC, Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. And so shout out to Brother James Bailey, shout out to Sister Chris Hale, shout out to Brother MT, shout out to all the people who
John Beal,
Zebediah, the tech people. Brother Bill, you're gonna be mad at what they did up in here. It wasn't on us, brother, but things kind of got twisted up. We ain't do it, brother, but we worked our way through it. And last but not least, we want to shout out our elder, the late great Brother Herman J. Russell, for being the trailblazer, for building. And this is what they're talking about with this film, is building a necessity, and the necessity for us to build for ourselves.
Absolutely. And on him is whose shoulders we stand on right now, being here in the Legacy podcast studio. So, all right, y'all, look, we will see y'all next Friday for another episode of BBI Talks. Remember, this is the platform where Black business leaders and owners discuss issues that matter to us. Man, isn't it refreshing to not have to worry about anybody else but us? Even if it's just for an hour and a half.
Look, you should try it more often.
I'm telling you, like, it's just an awesome feeling, and it allows us to celebrate ourselves and to see in one another the light that the God has given us all. Amen. So without further ado, BBI Talks. Peace.
Peace.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad. They gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. Glad that I know where I am.